The Cosmic Blueprint, A New Perspective. Every history book you've ever read is incomplete, because scattered across Earth, hidden in jungles, buried under sand, and carved into mountainsides, are ancient temples that follow a pattern no one expected. Evidence now suggests that these structures were not randomly placed, nor simply built for worship. Instead, they align with celestial bodies, planetary cycles, and mysterious energy grids that span the entire planet. These connections are precise, too precise to be accidental, and the deeper researchers explore, the more one question grows impossible to ignore. How did ancient civilizations, thousands of miles apart, know the same cosmic secrets? Welcome to Origin Archives, the channel where we uncover the lost, the hidden, and the impossible. In today's episode, we journey into Earth's forgotten temples, structures that defy logic, challenge archaeology, and hint at a level of knowledge far beyond what ancient civilizations were supposed to possess. If you're still ready to explore a mystery that rewrites our past and reshapes our understanding of human potential, then let's begin. The Cosmic Blueprint, A New Perspective. Long before satellites mapped Earth, long before telescopes pierced the stars, long before recorded civilization, ancient builders created something extraordinary. Across continents and across millennia, temples, pyramids, stone circles, and monoliths appear to follow the same hidden blueprint. A blueprint that connects Earth to the sky, and the sky back to Earth. Archaeologists initially dismissed the patterns as coincidence, but as technology revealed more data, the coincidences piled up. Too many, too consistent, too precise, and so a controversial question began to emerge. What if ancient civilizations were not simply building temples, but encoding a system, a body of knowledge, a cosmic map? The story begins with a structure almost everyone knows, a temple that rises above the horizon like a stone equation carved into the planet. The familiar mystery. Picture the Great Pyramid of Giza, massive, impossibly aligned, each side pointing almost perfectly north, south, east, and west. Each stone weighing tons, placed with surgical precision, its base forming a near-perfect square with a margin of error modern engineers struggle to replicate. But the real anomaly? Its alignment with Orion's belt. This astronomical synchronization sparked centuries of debate. Most scholars labeled it symbolic, ritualistic, or the product of religious mythology. But what if it was more? What if the Great Pyramid was the starting point of something larger, a network instead of a monument? Because when researchers compared Giza's astronomical alignment with other ancient sites around the world, a pattern emerged. And that pattern wasn't symbolic, it was mathematical. Questioning the impossible. The premise is simple, yet profoundly unsettling. How did civilizations separated by continents, languages, and thousands of years align their temples to the same stars? They shouldn't have been able to. They had no shared communication, no written records that traveled across oceans, no technology capable of long-distance coordination. Yet, they did. Structures in Egypt, Cambodia, Peru, Mexico, Indonesia, Ethiopia, Turkey, and even remote islands all follow astronomical orientations that match solstices, equinoxes, lunar standstills, and stellar cycles with uncanny accuracy. A new premise emerges. And so the core question of this documentary takes shape. What if ancient civilizations possessed advanced knowledge of cosmic alignments and energetic patterns? Knowledge they embedded deliberately into their temples. This concept challenges everything we think we know about ancient intelligence. It suggests they were not primitive observers of the sky, but active participants in a sophisticated understanding of Earth's relationship with the cosmos. Some temples reflect solar geometry, others encode lunar cycles lasting 18.6 years. Others align with the precession of the equinoxes, a 26,000-year celestial wobble no ancient culture should have been able to measure. Unless, of course, they inherited the knowledge. The blueprint reveals itself. The deeper one examines these sites, the more the pattern sharpens. Consider several examples. Angkor Wat in Cambodia mirrors the constellation Draco during the spring equinox. Teotihuacan in Mexico aligns with the Pleiades. Machu Picchu was built around solstice markers, so exact the sun hits specific stones only once per year. Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest temple, aligns with star movements linked to ancient mythologies of death and rebirth. different cultures, different eras, different worldviews, same cosmic principles. This is where traditional archaeology struggles. Either these cultures spontaneously discovered identical astronomical systems, or they were part of something bigger, something global, the hidden connection. This leads us deeper into the blueprint theory, the idea that Earth's temples form a network, one connected through alignments, geometry, and energetic positioning. Some researchers, though still considered fringe, propose that these structures were intentionally placed along magnetic anomalies, energetic hotspots, ley lines, planetary sacred geometry. Whether or not these theories prove literal, the patterns exist, and patterns demand explanation. If these sites encode a shared cosmic language, who created it? Was it a forgotten advanced civilization, a global exchange of knowledge far older than recorded history, or something beyond human understanding? Here lies the narrative pivot of this episode. Not speculation, but evidence, mathematical evidence, that the alignment of Earth's temples follows rules we are only now beginning to recognize, setting the journey. In the chapters ahead, we will uncover how temples across the world echo star maps, how energy grids, fault lines, and electromagnetic fields play roles in placement, how ancient knowledge systems might have traveled globally, and what it all means for the true story of human origins from Angkor to Giza, from Machu Picchu to Göbekli Tepe, from Stonehenge to Lalibela. The mystery deepens with each temple, each alignment, each mathematical anomaly. What we uncover may not only rewrite our history, but redefine our understanding of human capability. And so our journey begins with a single question, one that echoes across stone, across centuries, and across continents. How did ancient humans achieve what should have been impossible? In the next chapter, we step deeper into this mystery by exploring the global celestial connections carved into stone, echoes of a knowledge system that transcended borders, cultures, and time itself. Echoes in stone, global celestial connections. From the moment the first stones were lifted into place, humanity has been guided by the skies. But nowhere is that truth more powerful than in the ancient temples scattered across Earth, monuments that whisper the same message despite oceans, continents, and millennia separating their creators. As researchers peel back layers of soil, jungle, and forgotten mythology, a pattern emerges. It is subtle at first, almost invisible, but once seen, it becomes impossible to ignore. The world's ancient temples are connected by the stars. This chapter journeys into those connections, into the alignments etched into stone, encoded into architecture, and preserved in myth. Evidence so consistent, so deliberate, that it paints a picture of a global knowledge system, far older and more sophisticated than historians ever imagined. The first revelation, a pattern. Across continents. The story begins in Cambodia, at the vast and enigmatic Angkor Wat. It is one of humanity's most ambitious architectural feats, a temple complex measuring over 400 acres, carved with staggering detail and designed with absolute mathematical precision. But beneath its intricate carvings and towering spires lies a secret known only to the builders. On the spring equinox, the sun rises exactly above the central tower. Not approximately, not symbolically, exactly. Its orientation is so precise that modern satellite mapping shows an angular deviation too small to attribute to chance. But the alignment becomes even more compelling when researchers overlay the temple's layout onto the night sky. Angkor Wat aligns perfectly with the constellation Draco, matching star positions as they appeared thousands of years ago. This is where the mystery deepens, because on the other side of the planet, across oceans and cultures with no historical link, another monumental structure mirrors the sky with equal precision, the pyramids of Giza. Their layout reflects Orion's belt, a cosmic twin to Angkor's connection with Draco. Two sites, thousands of miles apart, built in different eras by civilizations with no known contact, each mapping the heavens onto Earth. Coincidence? Mathematically, it shouldn't be. Symbolically, it transcends coincidence entirely. A network, not a scattering. As researchers feed more temple coordinates into astronomical alignment software, a pattern emerges like a constellation made of monuments. Temples in Mexico, China, Indonesia, Peru, Ethiopia, and Turkey display the same characteristics, consistent intentional alignments with astronomical events. Consider Teotihuacan, Mexico's ancient city of the gods. The Pyramid of the Sun aligns not with random sunrise points, but with the passage of the Pleiades star cluster, a celestial event sacred to Mesoamerican cultures. The city's layout reflects cosmic geometry, fixed not only to solar cycles, but also to the 260-day ritual calendar. Halfway around the world in Ireland, Newgrange, a stone structure older than the pyramids, was engineered so that, on the winter solstice, a single beam of sunlight illuminates a chamber deep inside the monument for exactly 17 minutes. This moment is so precise that even a shift of a degree would break it. These alignments show not merely reverence for the sky, but a scientific understanding of Earth's position in the cosmos. The unexplainable consistency patterns begin to form. Solstice markers, equinox alignments, lunar standstill tracking, precessional cycles, stellar correspondences, geometric ratios found across cultures. It's as if ancient civilizations were following the same architectural manual, unaware, or perhaps profoundly aware, that their structures echoed one another across time and space. And then there's the case of Machu Picchu. High in the Andes, this sky city is built like a cosmic observatory. Its famous Intihuatana stone translates to the hitching post of the sun, and on equinox days, the sun rests directly above it with no shadow, achieving a precision that modern stonemasons marvel at. Across the ocean in China, the prehistoric observatory of Taosi used ceramic pipes to track the solstice sun, aligning perfectly with cardinal directions. Thousands of miles away in Africa, the stone circle of Nabta Playa, older than Stonehenge, forms alignments with Orion's belt and Sirius, just as the Egyptians later would. These sites span eras, cultures, belief systems, and technologies, yet display a singular cosmic awareness. It's as if the stars were teaching a lesson humanity never should have forgotten. The question that refuses to die. How? How did Angkor Wat mirror Draco? How did Giza align with Orion? How did Machu Picchu track the equinox with such precision? How did Nabta Playa record stellar cycles millennia before written language? Ancient people were intelligent, yes. They observed the sky, yes. But these alignments require more than casual observation. They demand long-term tracking, mathematical projections, architecturally precise execution, geological accuracy, knowledge of Earth's axial tilt, understanding of precession, ability to measure long-term celestial drift. So the real question becomes, where did they learn this? And perhaps even more perplexing, why did cultures across the world preserve the same cosmic knowledge? The deeper researchers dig, the more obvious it becomes that the sky was not merely inspiration, it was instruction. From the heavens to the earth. This brings us to the most fascinating implication, the idea that ancient architecture was intentionally designed to connect heaven and earth, both symbolically and literally. Ancient builders seemed to believe their temples were portals, bridges linking the physical world with the cosmic realm, and they encoded this belief into stone. The great temples of the Maya were built with stairways symbolizing the ascent from earth to the heavens. The Egyptians carved star maps into tombs, linking pharaohs to celestial rebirth. The Cambodians mirrored the heavens in sacred geometry. The Incas oriented windows and stones to the solstice sun, viewing light as divine energy. It was the same blueprint, the same philosophy, the same cosmic architecture. Though the cultures differed wildly, their cosmic understanding overlapped like layers of the same story told in different languages. The shared knowledge theory. This convergence leaves researchers with two possibilities. Possibility 1, independent brilliance. Ancient civilizations all independently achieved advanced astronomical understanding. But critics argue this does not explain the near-identical alignment styles. Possibility 2, a shared ancient knowledge system, a system predating these civilizations, passed down through myth, memory, or migration. Perhaps a forgotten seafaring civilization, perhaps an earlier global culture, perhaps survivors of a past cataclysm who spread their knowledge across the world, or perhaps something we have not considered at all. The unanswered question. As researchers step back and map the world's ancient temples, another realization begins to form. The alignments aren't just local. They appear global, patterns stretching across continents like threads of a forgotten tapestry. A tapestry that ties together ancient temples, celestial cycles, Earth's geological features, and a possible energy grid connecting them all. This global blueprint leads us directly into the next chapter. where celestial alignments meet geological power points, and where temples become more than observatories. They become instruments. In the next part, we journey into the energetic grid, temples as power hubs, and uncover why ancient builders chose specific locations with such extraordinary precision. The energetic grid, temples as power hubs. Across the ancient world, temples were more than sacred spaces. They were built on mountains, carved into cliffs, aligned with the skies, and placed with astonishing intention. But one mystery rises above all the others, a mystery uncovered only when modern researchers began examining Earth not from ground level, but from the view of a satellite. Patterns began to emerge, lines, geometric relationships, repeating distances. Temples separated by oceans seemed to sit on the same invisible threads, as if ancient builders saw a map we no longer understand. And so, a new question entered the archaeological conversation, one more controversial and more intriguing than any before. What if Earth itself was part of the design? What if ancient temples were placed on an energetic grid, a global power network? This chapter explores that possibility, not as fantasy, but as a growing area of research that merges archaeology, geology, geophysics, and ancient engineering. The mysterious lines beneath our feet. The idea that Earth holds natural energy pathways is far older than the term ley lines. Indigenous cultures have spoken of these forces for thousands of years, using different names across continents. The Chinese called them dragon lines. The Aboriginal Australians referred to song lines. The ancient Hindus believed in prana flows within the land. The Maya saw sakbe as spiritual pathways. The Egyptians believed in currents tied to the Nile's living energy. Different names, different geographies, same concept. These traditions describe Earth as a living body with veins, currents, and energetic pathways. But modern researchers found something even more surprising. Many of the world's oldest temples sit exactly on these ancient energy points. Exactly. Not close, not roughly, exactly. It was as if the builders had maps of Earth's electromagnetic hotspots, and they placed their temples directly on top of them. The science behind the mysticism. While the term energy grid sounds symbolic, modern geophysics confirms that the Earth emits measurable natural energies, telluric currents which move through the ground, electromagnetic hotspots along fault lines, geomagnetic anomalies tied to mineral deposits, seismic resonance points, acoustic nodes that amplify sound naturally. When researchers plotted these hotspots on a global map, something extraordinary happened. Temples lined up with stunning consistency. The Great Pyramid sits on one of the strongest geomagnetic anomalies in Africa. Machu Picchu rests atop intersecting fault lines where telluric activity peaks. Angkor Wat lies on a continental scale acoustic resonance node. Stonehenge sits on a geomagnetic boundary and a prehistoric watercourse. Göbekli Tepe, the oldest known temple, was built on a ridge where subsurface vibrations amplify dramatically. These findings forced researchers to consider an unsettling possibility. Ancient civilizations may have understood Earth's energy patterns far better than we do today. Temples as instruments, not structures. If these placements were intentional, and evidence increasingly suggests they were, then what were the temples for? Most historians assume they were places of worship. But new hypotheses paint a different picture. Ancient temples may have been amplifiers of natural energy, stabilizers of electromagnetic fields, acoustic resonance chambers, astronomical data centers, healing sites with geomagnetic properties, spiritual or ceremonial power stations. Consider the Great Pyramid again. For centuries, explorers and Egyptologists documented unusual energy anomalies inside its chambers. Photographs sometimes distort near the king's chamber. Compasses spin, static electricity builds unnaturally, even radio signals behave strangely. Initially dismissed as myth, these reports gained weight when a 2018 physics study revealed that the pyramid S shape naturally focuses electromagnetic energy at specific internal points. This wasn't symbolic architecture, it was functional, intentional, engineered. The same is true at Chichen Itza, where clapping near the staircase produces the cry of a sacred Quetzal bird, an acoustic effect achieved only through precise geometric calculation. At Machu Picchu, stones are shaped to absorb and reflect seismic vibrations like a tuning fork. At Lalibela, Ethiopia, entire temples were carved downward into solid rock in a way that enhances low-frequency resonance, like harmonic chambers. None of this points to primitive construction. It points to an advanced understanding of physics disguised within spiritual tradition. The ley line theory, revisited with evidence. The idea of ley lines, popularized in the 20th century, was once considered pseudoscience, but modern mapping has breathed new life into the concept. Researchers noticed that the Great Pyramid, the Nazca Lines, Easter Island, Angkor Wat, Mohenjo-Daro, Petra, Machu Picchu, the Oracle of Delphi, and other ancient sites align on long, continuous straight lines, something statistically improbable unless intentional. Some of these lines correspond to maximum solar exposure lines, magnetic variance lines, or continental resonance pathways. Whatever their exact nature, the pattern is real. Ancient builders were not guessing. They were following something invisible, powerful, and universal. The cosmic connection returns. As Part 2 already established, temples mirror the sky. But now, with Earth's energy grid mapped, a deeper pattern emerges. The temples align with both the heavens above and the energies below. This dual alignment suggests that temples were the meeting point of cosmic and terrestrial forces. Temples were not just oriented, they were plugged into Earth's magnetic field, solar cycles, star movements, lunar rhythms, seasonal energies, planetary geometry. This transforms the purpose of ancient temples from simple religious monuments to multifunctional nodes in a planetary system. Ancient data centers. Some researchers propose a daring idea. The layout of temples and pyramids forms a data network, a global system for recording and transmitting information. Although symbolic, the idea gains traction when considering repetition of geometric ratios, identical alignment systems, shared mythological patterns, pillar designs that reflect star maps, cross-cultural calendars, solar and lunar synchronization. It is as if the ancients encoded their understanding of the world into the very stones they lifted, not on papyrus, not on clay, but on Earth itself. What were they protecting? If temples were power hubs, data centers, energy stabilizers, or cosmic markers, then their purpose becomes clear. They were preserving knowledge. But why? Perhaps ancient civilizations understood the fragility of memory. Perhaps they foresaw disasters, floods, earthquakes, cosmic impacts that could erase written records. And so they carved knowledge into stone, aligning it with eternal constants. The stars, the sun, the Earth's energy, celestial cycles that outlive empires. They built monuments that could survive thousands of years, even if their civilizations could not. The bridge to what comes next. This chapter reveals temples as energetic instruments, plugged into Earth's power grid and tuned to the sky. But the deeper question remains, how did ancient builders know where to place these structures? How did they measure, calculate, and coordinate across continents? Who taught them? Or what did they inherit? To answer that, we must explore how ancient cultures unlocked forgotten knowledge, wisdom that might hold answers not only for the past, but for the future. In the next chapter, we dive into unlocking the past, forgotten knowledge, and uncover how these ancient alignments challenge everything we believe about human intelligence and global interconnectedness. Unlocking the past. Forgotten knowledge. Human history is often presented as a straight line, simple tribes evolving into villages, villages into cities, cities into civilizations. But the deeper researchers look, the more that timeline fractures. Beneath our feet, beneath our stories, beneath layers of soil and myth, lies evidence of knowledge far older, far broader, and far more advanced than traditional archaeology is willing to accept. Part 4 explores that uncomfortable truth. It examines the knowledge ancient civilizations possessed, knowledge they should not logically have had. It questions why such knowledge appears globally, across cultures with no contact. And it confronts the possibility that we are only rediscovering things our ancestors once understood fully. This is the story of forgotten knowledge, knowledge encoded in temples, carved in stone, whispered in myths, and buried beneath catastrophe. The why it matters now moment. Modern science is beginning to confirm what ancient structures have been hinting at for centuries. Our ancestors were not primitive observers of the world. They were acute engineers of it. Why does this matter today? Because the world faces challenges once thought insurmountable. Climate instability, declining natural resources, unpredictable geological shifts, a fragmented sense of global identity, and yet ancient civilizations, spread across continents, seem to have developed systems that thrived in unity with natural forces. Their temples tracked the sun more accurately than many modern instruments. Their cities were aligned to mitigate seismic damage. Their calendars predicted celestial events with mathematical precision. Their myths encoded astronomical cycles, not superstition. Their architecture flowed with the earth instead of fighting it. If we unlock what they knew, we may find answers not only to where we come from, but where we should go next. The challenge to established history. The more researchers analyze ancient alignments, the more uncomfortable the conclusions become. They challenge the core assumptions of modern education. Assumption number 1, ancient people had simple tools. Reality, they built monuments requiring advanced calculation, surveying, and engineering. Assumption number 2, civilizations developed knowledge independently. Reality, identical concepts appear across the world simultaneously. Assumption number 3, ancient knowledge was symbolic. Reality, data shows it was scientific, astronomical, and geophysical. Assumptions number 4, primitive, cultures lacked global understanding. Reality, they mapped the heavens better than many medieval astronomers. This isn't coincidence, it's consistency. Consistency across time, space, and culture. When so many cultures converge on the same knowledge, the narrative shifts. Either humans developed identical systems independently, unlikely. Knowledge was shared through a global network older than believed, possible. Or they inherited a knowledge system older than themselves, a theory increasingly studied. Whatever the truth, it changes everything. The questions. We're not supposed to ask. Historians often avoid questions that break the conventional timeline, but ancient temples force those questions forward. 1. How did ancient people measure planetary precession? This requires tracking the stars over thousands of years. No ancient culture should have had such long-term data, yet nearly all major civilizations incorporated precession into their myths and temples. 2. How did they align monuments to true north? The Great Pyramid is aligned within a fraction of a degree. Accuracy modern builders struggle to achieve without electronic tools. 3. How did they move multi-ton stones? Not just move, but position, stack, tilt, and align them flawlessly. 4. Why did they encode astronomical cycles into architecture? Not mythically, but mathematically. 5. Why do religious myths share identical cosmic symbolism across continents? Serpents, cosmic eggs, floods, sky gods, world trees, sun cycles. Patterns that reflect celestial mechanics more than religious superstition. These aren't random coincidences. They are fingerprints, imprints of a knowledge system older than writing itself. The forgotten network of ideas across the ancient world cultures developed. 365-day calendars, 260-day calendars, lunar calendars, solstice markers, eclipse prediction methods, star catalogs, sacred geometry. Often these systems overlapped almost perfectly. For example, the Maya, Egyptians, and Chinese each had solar calendars off by less than a single minute. The Dogon people of Mali described Sirius, B, an invisible star, long before telescopes existed. The Indus Valley culture used standardized weights matching those in Sumer. Stone monoliths in Britain tracked lunar standstills identical to those measured in Peru. Something ties these cultures together, something lost. The possibility of a shared origin. Some researchers propose the existence of an ancient knowledge network, shared by migrating peoples after a global disaster, possibly during the end of the last ice age. This theory suggests survivors preserved knowledge orally. They spread across continents. They passed their understanding of the sky, earth, and geometry. Each region built temples to preserve fragments of this knowledge. It doesn't claim a single world empire. It claims a shared memory passed through generations, preserved in stone. But there's a darker version of this theory. What if ancient civilizations didn't discover this knowledge, but rediscovered it? What if they inherited fragments of a far older system, one erased by catastrophe? This leads to the second part of forgotten knowledge, the lost civilization. Hypothesis. While still controversial, this idea has gained traction for one reason. Evidence keeps piling up. Structures like Göbekli Tepe predate agriculture. Megalithic sites appear suddenly, not gradually. Ancient myths describe global floods, comets, and sky fires. Geological records confirm catastrophic events at the end of the Ice Age. If a civilization existed before the known ones, their temples may have encoded knowledge needed for survival. knowledge later, cultures preserved through ritual. And if this civilization mapped the stars, understood energy grids, and aligned structures globally, its memory lives on through the temples we explore today. The bridge to critical thinking. Understanding forgotten knowledge requires one final element: critical thinking. History is not wrong, it's incomplete. And that incompleteness is our invitation to explore deeper, to question assumptions, to re-examine myths as coded science, to see temples not only as relics of the past, but as messages, warnings, lessons, blueprints. This is why it matters now. Modern humanity stands at a crossroads. Technological power without ancient wisdom, science without spiritual understanding, information without integration. Perhaps the ancient builders left these temples for us, not just to admire, but to learn from. The bridge to Part 5. Forgotten knowledge forces us to confront something profound. If ancient civilizations possessed such advanced understanding, what does that say about our place in the cosmos? What future discoveries await if we reconnect with their wisdom? This leads us to the final chapter, where the past meets the future and where human potential takes center stage. In the next part, we step into Beyond the Veil, our place in the cosmos, the final chapter that explores how these ancient mysteries reshape our future, our identity, and our understanding of consciousness itself. Beyond the Veil, our place in the cosmos. As humanity continues digging through ruins, decoding symbols, and aligning ancient stones with the stars, one truth rises from the dust. These temples were never just about the past. They were bridges, connections between earth and sky, between the material and the unseen, between what we are and what we might someday become. Part 5 is the final step of this journey. It explores not just what ancient civilizations knew, but what that knowledge means for us today. It asks the questions that lie beyond archaeology, beyond science, beyond myth, the questions these temples whisper to anyone willing to listen. Because in the end, these mysteries are not simply about them, they're about us. The changing perspective. When modern humans picture ancient civilizations, we often imagine primitive societies, tribes struggling for survival, building out of necessity, living in fear of the natural world. But the further we explore the connections between temples, stars, and Earth's energy grid, the harder that viewpoint becomes to defend. These were not people fumbling in the dark. They were observers, engineers, mathematicians, astronomers, philosophers. They were in tune with forces that modern technology is only beginning to measure. They sought harmony with Earth instead of dominance over it. They studied the heavens to understand time, life, and existence. We assumed we were the pinnacle of history. Perhaps we are simply one chapter in a much longer story. And the temples, aligned so precisely with celestial events, may be reminders left for future civilizations, for us, to remember our place in the grand design. Looking to the future, what does this mean for us? If ancient civilizations possessed advanced knowledge of cosmic cycles and Earth's energetic structure, then understanding these systems isn't just about rewriting the past. It is about preparing for the future. What could we learn from them? 1. A better way to build ancient structures have survived earthquakes, storms, floods, and millennia of erosion. Why? Because their builders understood resonance, vibration, fault lines, solar heating, magnetic orientation. Imagine applying these principles to modern cities, structures that consume less energy, buildings that withstand natural disasters with ease, architecture in harmony with nature, not at war with it. 2. A deeper connection to Earth's energies. Ancient builders didn't fight the landscape, they listened to it. They built where the Earth wanted them to build. Modern science now confirms that certain geomagnetic locations influence human health, brainwave patterns, emotional states, biological rhythms. If ancient temples amplified these energies, perhaps they served as centers of healing, meditation, and transformation. Reintroducing this knowledge could revolutionize medicine, mental health, and human performance. 3. A cosmic identity. Ancient people didn't see themselves as separate from the universe. They saw themselves inside it, part of a cosmic rhythm. Their temples encoded celestial cycles not just for ritual, but for meaning, purpose, identity. In a world increasingly disconnected and uncertain, understanding our place in the cosmos could reshape how humanity views our origins, our destiny, our unity as a species. This is why ancient knowledge matters now, because the future is calling us to remember. The question of human potential, every alignment we uncover, every energetic connection we map, every myth we decode, moves us closer to one profound realization. Ancient humans were capable of far more than we ever believed, which means modern humans are capable of far more than we imagine. These temples are not just remnants of old cultures, they are symbols of human potential at its peak. If ancient civilizations understood the flow of energy through Earth, the movement of stars across millennia, the geometry of sound, the physics of stone, the meaning of cosmic cycles, then what could future civilizations, our civilization, achieve if we reclaimed that knowledge? What breakthroughs lie ahead when we merge ancient wisdom with modern science? Quantum physics already suggests the universe is a web of interconnected energies. Neuroscience shows human consciousness is far more complex than previously believed. Astronomy reveals we are part of a cosmic ecosystem stretching across galaxies. The ancients understood this intuitively. We are only now rediscovering it scientifically. A call to question everything. Unlocking forgotten knowledge requires courage. The courage to question narratives written in textbooks, the courage to explore theories dismissed by mainstream academia, and the courage to ask one of history's most controversial questions. What if the real story of humanity is far older, far deeper, and far more interconnected than we have been told? Questioning does not weaken science. It strengthens it. And these temples, aligned, carved, buried, and rediscovered, invite us to question with open minds. Because the moment we stop asking questions, we stop evolving. The invitation to explore further. As this documentary draws near its end, the journey is far from over. In truth, it has only just begun. These temples, these alignments, these energy grids, they are not conclusions. They are invitations. Invitations to read deeper, watch the skies, study ancient maps, examine myths with scientific curiosity, explore new theories, connect with researchers, question the boundaries of accepted history. Humanity's next great discovery may not come from new technology, but from reinterpreting the wisdom of the past. The final wonder. In the quiet moments between sunrise and sunset, the shadows of ancient temples stretch across the earth, aligning with stars that have watched us for thousands of years. These structures stand as reminders that humanity is not alone, not disconnected, not purposeless. We are part of something vast, something ancient, something cosmic. Our ancestors knew this. They carved it into stone. They aligned it with the heavens. They encoded it with meaning. And now, as new discoveries unfold, we are rediscovering that truth. Earth's hidden temples were not built to glorify the past, but to guide the future. The final message. Beyond the veil of accepted history lies a deeper story. One where human beings are explorers of the cosmos, discoverers of energy, builders of sacred geometry, and keepers of ancient knowledge. The temples whisper a message meant for us across thousands of years. Remember who you are. Remember what you're capable of. And remember that the universe is not something you observe from afar, but something you are a part of. If this journey opened your eyes to the hidden connections of our ancient world, then you have only scratched the surface. At Origin Archives, we explore the mysteries that challenge history, the discoveries that redefine human potential, and the forgotten knowledge waiting to be uncovered. Like, subscribe, and share this documentary to keep this exploration alive. And join us next time as we peel back another layer of Earth's ancient past. Until then, remember, the secrets of the cosmos are not out of reach. They're carved into the stones beneath your feet.